I am so glad you stopped by for this edition of Media Champions today here on Daily Ad Brief. I'm your host, Mary Treese Griffin in Atlanta. We like to share with you conversations with the experts in the field of media and marketing. And today we're going to go back out to California, to Burbank to be exact. We've got Jeff Ferguson on the program today. Jeff, welcome to Media Champions. You are a partner and the head of production for Amplitude Digital. How's it going?
It's going great. We've got a little rain out here today, but we welcome it.
Oh, right. They say it never rains in California. I think that's a myth.
We got to water the plants.
And thank goodness for that. Hey, I know what's not a myth, Jeff Ferguson, is what you all do to help people tell their stories, because you talk about helping people get more out of a marketing campaign, and there are so many different ways that you can do that. Why don't we open that box and tell people how you do that?
Absolutely. So I think one of the big differences between Amplitude and many of the other like digital agencies that are running around these days is that we really are an advertising agency. It seems to be becoming kind of a lost art form, I think, in the world of media, where there's a lot of shops that really overly focus on maybe paid search advertising or paid social advertising, and they're basically just working on Google and Facebook and things like that. And those are very do-it-yourself type of platforms. They're a very easy solution to a very broad type of problem. And while we use them as well, what we really pride ourselves on is the fact that we're really, a group of actual media planners and actual marketers and actual advertisers, and people who have been trained in the more traditional ways of marketing and media and things like that. So we actually approach things from the idea of like, hey, let's look at a target audience. Let's look at where that audience actually hangs out, on the web and various other locations. Where is the best time to actually get them the best message at the right time in the right place, and all that kind of classic understanding, which used to be just the way it always used to be for years. But for some reason, with all of these kind of like automated platforms and a lot of things out there, it became very easy for a lot of shops just to put a sign out and claim to be experts on things, whatever it is, and run campaigns. Sometimes they'd hit it, sometimes they wouldn't, but most of the time they really didn't seem to care much. So we kind of approach it from that kind of old school standpoint of actually planning along the entire consumer journey and making sure that we hit all the touch points and beyond, going beyond just taking people to the point of sale, even going further. And actually looking how we can actually help them retain customers and all that sort of good things.
What one tip do you give to potential customers when it comes to media planning? Because you clearly have to have a plan, but what's one tip that you like to share with your potential customers?
I guess probably the best advice is just keep your options open. Keep have sort of an imagination about what you're actually working on. Like I said, it's very easy to fall into the trap of just using Google and Facebook because they're just big players. They're everywhere. Everybody understands it. And it just seems to be the first place so many people go. But in reality, there could be hundreds of different options for finding your target audience. And sometimes you may not be having to basically compete as much as you would on some of those other platforms for attention with the audience and things like that. For instance, we're big fans of recommending Pinterest or doing direct buys with certain sites or using programmatic to get into a lot of little niches and nooks and crannies of the web to actually make sure that we get in this conversation as often as we can. So yeah, it's more about a matter of like, don't fall for the easy stuff. They'll present itself. They're usually part of the plan anyway, but there's tons of other opportunities out there.
Well, Jeff Ferguson, thank you for carving out time to be with us this afternoon. There are so many more layers, I know, to you and your company that we would love to have you come back and explain even more, because you are the subject matter experts. And I love the fact that you said you're old school and you've got that background to help people tell their story in a variety of ways. And I think you have to have that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's the old school, these ways come back and they're, there's a reason for it. There's a reason for they stick around.
Well, I also hear that vinyl's coming back, and I'm really stoked about that because I've got quite a record collection. I'm I'm a firm
Get a whole
believer.
room for it in the other direction over here. So,
I see. We are kindred spirits, my friend.
there
Thank
you
you
go.
so much, Jeff, for being with us. We'll talk again soon. And thank you for joining us today on Media Champions. If you want to know how to make that connect to Jeff, to find out all the cool things that they're doing, all the cool kids are doing it, you're going to see what he's doing. We'll make that connect for you. Go to dailyatbrief.com. Hope you'll come back for more Media Champions. I'm Mary Treese. Have a great day.